Hello, friends, and welcome back to our daily women's devotional. I Am Loved, edited by Carolyn Rathbun Sutton. Today is November 13, and the title of our devotional is Lend a Hand, Just Be There, written by Pramila Pedapudi. The Bible verse is found in Romans chapter 5, verse 5. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us. Pramila writes, a few years back, I volunteered as a chaplain trainee at a church-affiliated hospital. One day, on my rounds of visitation and prayer, I knocked on a room door. Not hearing a response, I slowly opened the door and said, "Knock, knock, may I come in?" As I entered the room, I saw a young, pregnant lady on the bed, sobbing uncontrollably. As I walked forward, she stretched out her hands towards me. I quietly took her hands in mine and just sat beside her on the bed. She cried and cried. With tears rolling down, I just remained silent and let her cry her heart out. 5 minutes passed, 10 minutes passed, and then 15 minutes. Slowly, her sobbing subsided, and in a few minutes, it stopped. She wiped her eyes and looked at me and said, "I am sorry that I cried all over you." I replied, "It is no problem. Did you get some bad news? And is that the reason why you're crying?" I sensed her pain, anguish, and hurt as she told me her doctor had just visited a few minutes before I came to her room. She'd been told that the baby in her womb was still and not breathing. An ultrasound would be taken, followed by a decision concerning surgery. She was all alone. Her world crumbled around her. Her husband was at work. Her 2 children were with her parents. She had been so devastated by the news that everything had come to a standstill. She had not even thought about calling her husband, but had just wanted to cry and scream. With me, her hands in mine, she wept and was able to feel secure. She then told me that my just being there for her, not talking, not asking questions, but silently listening with her as support, calmed her and made her feel wanted. Just being there for someone can sometimes bring hope when all seems hopeless. People don't always need advice. Sometimes all they need is a hand to hold, an ear to listen, and a heart to understand. The Holy Spirit comforts those who are under His dominion. He brings hope when all things seem hopeless. He brings peace and happiness for the children of God. The Holy Spirit, for me and for everyone, is here to provide a hand to hold, an ear to listen, a feeling of security, and a heart to understand. Pramila Pedapudi, a new author, is the administrative assistant for the Department of Women's Ministries at the General Conference. Let's remember that actions sometimes speak louder than words. Sometimes as Christians, we think we always have to have the last word, or we always need to comfort by maybe quoting a verse or praying. And that's true and good, but sometimes somebody just needs a hand to hold, a shoulder to cry on, and somebody to just listen. That's what God would have done, and that's what Jesus did when He was on earth. Just listen. I hope you're blessed, you enjoyed today's devotional, and I will see you again tomorrow.